Hello everyone, my name is Raihan Pramana and today I will be presenting the movie 1917 for the pop culture assignment project uh, on the Modern Britain history class. The first agenda will be doing an introduction, which is I will be talking about the movie a little bit, like how it goes, what it is all about, and then we will jump into the World War One, the background, the real historical event that actually happened in the past that is becoming background of this movie. And then after that, we jump into themes, what themes are in this movie, what key themes that they bring up to the movie, and then about how about the historical accuracy and the impact of this movie in the general public. And then we're also gonna look at the cultural significance for the about this movie for the general public as well, from my point of view, and lastly, the conclusion of this presentation. It's a World War One film that depicted two British soldiers, Lance Corporal Blake and Schofield, on a mission to deliver a message from their general deep into enemy territory to prevent a planned attack that could potentially lead to the death of more than 1,600 men, including Blake's big brother. So the film starts with the Schofield and Blake receiving orders to deliver a message to the front lines. The message warns another battalion to call off their attack, as it's a trap set by the Germans that could result in the death of 1,600 soldiers, including Blake's older brother. So the two soldiers embark on a dangerous and race against time mission to reach the isolated battalion. They navigate through the treacherous trenches, destroyed landscapes, and encounter various obstacles along the way. As they make their way, they encounter fellow soldiers, the German enemies, and witness the devastating effects of war. The history is presented in a unique, immersive way, shot to look like one continuous take, which adds to the intensity and the realism of the events. So, throughout the journey, Blake is tragically killed, leaving Schofield to complete the mission alone. Despite the loss and the challenges he faces, Schofield persists and manages to deliver the message just in time. The film depicts the horrors of war, the bonds formed between soldiers, and the sacrifices made to save lives. It showcases the courage and the resilience of individuals in the face of adversity. The 1917 is a gripping and emotional film that captures the brutality and chaos of war while highlighting themes of friendship, duty, and human spirit. It also received a lot of compliment from many parties, which we will talk about later. Background of the movie 1917, and this is the actual event that happened in the past. So it started on July 28th, 1914, and it lasted until November 11th, 1918, with the ceasefire, with the armistice signed. So the fight was between the Entente power, the Allied powers, versus the Central powers. As we know together that the Entente powers consisted of Russia, the Britain, and Britain and France, and the Central powers consist of Germany, Austro-Hungarian Empire, and the Ottoman Empire. The Battle of Somme is one of the um, key points in the First World War. It's a major offensive during the World War One between the British and French against the Germans. It took place along the River Somme in France, and started in July 1st, 1916 and lasted for several months. It was one of the deadliest battles in history, with heavy casualties on both sides. I remember the other day, Dr. Mitchum explains about the Kitchenet's army of the British Empire, of the British Army. Um, the British lost about like 60,000 men in a single day during this battle. He referenced, in comparison, the United States of America lost about like 55,000 men during the 9 Years' War in Vietnam. So the British lost more men in a single day versus the Americans in the 9 years of war. So it's horrifying. The World War One, also known as the War of Attrition, which is a strategy employed during the World War One, involving wearing down the enemy through continuous and relentless attacks, with the goals of exhausting their resources and manpower. The intention was to break the enemy's will to fight by inflicting heavy casualties and enduring the same in return. It was a war of stalemates and constant battles, characterized by trench warfare and massive casualties. Um, One of the most famous examples of the war of attrition is the Battle of Verdun, where both German and French army um, both um, lost a lot of men, and they suffered a lot of casualties in there. After a 4 years long war, the Allied eventually came out victorious. They prevailed against the Central Powers, and all the Central Powers were dissolved and destroyed. The Ottoman Empire, the German Empire, and also the uh, Austro-Hungarian Empire. And it eventually officially ended by the Treaty of Versailles, which was signed in 1919, which the Allied put the full blame of the war on Germany, and it humiliates Germany by uh, requires it to pay reparation of war, limiting its army to 100,000 men, and and stole a lot of territories from German possessions. Here that I get from the movies: sacrifice, camaraderie, harsh reality of war, and depicting real suffering of the regular soldiers. So all of these are vividly portrayed in the movie. The sacrifices made by the soldiers in the film show their selflessness and willingness to lay down their lives for their comrades and their mission. The deep bond of camaraderie is seen through their unwavering support and loyalty to one another, even in the face of extreme danger. The film also depicts a harsh reality of war, showing the brutal conditions, constant threat, and devastating toll it takes on individuals. To the general public. So actually the movie, the film, loosely based on a true story. So it is inspired by director's grandfather's story about his experience in World War One. The director's name is Sam Mendes, and his grandfather named is Alfred Mendes. Alfred Mendes actually was a British soldier in the World War One, and he was participated in the Operation Albereich. Operation Albereich actually a German military withdrawal for a stronger position in northern France. So this is a war of attrition. This is a war of trench warfare. So between these trenches, there are no man's land, where the front lines, nobody goes there, because if you go there, you're gonna get killed immediately. But the Alfred Mendes, he actually was ordered by his superiors to identify the dead body along the no man's land, and he was given a medal for it. And he always told that stories to his grandson, which is Sam Mendes, the director of this movie. So actually, this movie is based on Alfred Mendes' experience that has been told to Sam Mendes, and he eventually made this movie. In 1917 movie rated pretty high in a lot of um, internet movie informant such as IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. 8.2 out of 10 in IMDb's and 89% in Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good. It is in my experience, in my view, it is deepening my understanding down to the psychology of a regular soldier in a trench. This is not life of a general. This is a soldier's experience in the war, the grassroots level. It also immortalizes the family's history of the film, director, and many more. So not only him, but other families have also been affected by the war, and usually the grandfather experienced the first-hand experience in the battle. And then it also revived the spirit of patriotism to the younger generation by showing them courage, by showing them chivalry, by showing them the solidarity in the war. It also spread the messages. Yeah, it's also spread messages to the world about how devastating the war is, and give a close to reality visual about the suffering of regular people during the war. 1917 is a very good film about the World War One, but it is not a documentary. It is more of a historical drama film that is largely based on second-hand experience of the source. The film portrayed a real historical event during World War One, the Operation Albrecht. The film is highly appreciated by cinema goers and internet movie database informant like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, and it also revived the old spirit of chivalry, camaraderie, patriotism, bravery, and solidarity. That is pretty much my presentation about this movie, and thank you for your attention. Have a great one.